right, our next act tonight is, I believe it's our only comedian performance tonight. It's going to be, I'm not sure where they came up with his name.
Google.
I wouldn't Google this. It's called the Double Entry Deviants. And it's going to be Professor Feng and accounting student MBA, Brian Wagner.
Thank you, thank you.
We have two, right?
Yep.
I get it.
Just pull it out. Hello. How many accountants are there here? Good.
Quite a few, huh? You're half accountant, right?
I got a job as one, but yeah, besides that.
Professor Hamlin was not able to make it tonight, but I did think of this joke during her class today, so I wanted to make sure that I acknowledge her class. Starting off, what's an accountant's favorite culinary hobby? Cooking the books. If you have a partnership with, and one of the partners is a dog, does it get a canine?
Okay, Brian, you will become accountant very soon. Because you're new to this profession, I thought it may be helpful to teach you a couple of things about what accountants are. So, do you know what are accountants' political views? Conservative. We're always conservative. We're well known for conservative, right?
I already know you're a father, but what does an accountant use for birth control? His personality.
Alright, well, we know two things in this world cannot be avoided. Tax and death, right? So, for accountant, what did a suicidal accountant say? This guy say, goodbye, a cruel world.
So a guy walks into a bar, walks up to a couple of patrons there, says, want to hear an accounting joke? And the guy goes, first, let me tell you, I'm 6'3", 250 pounds, I'm an accountant. My friend next to me, he's 6'8", 300 pounds, and he's an accountant. You still want to tell that joke? Guy responds, no, not really, I don't want to have to explain it twice.
All right, you're going to spend a lot of time as an auditor, right? So you may want to hear about this. So one day, an auditor is checking the books of an airline. You mentioned they cook books, and now they're checking the books as well, right? He is quite puzzled by the excess use of fuel on an LA to New York flight. So the auditor rings up the pilot and asks for an explanation. The pilot says, it was late last night. LA was covered in fog, as you know, as always, and I lost my bearings. I'm sorry, says the auditor, but you have to pay for the cost yourself. The cost of what? Asks the pilot. Of the bearings you lost.
No, I thought it was funny. How many accountants does it take to screw in a light bulb? Nobody quite knows they're still doing due diligence. The auditor professor would appreciate this.
Okay, so do you know what does an accountant call his wife? An expenditure. Because she keeps spending.
So after being informed that she only has 6 months to live, the woman asked her doctor, so what should I do? Doctor replied, I'd suggest going out and marrying an accountant. Will that make me live longer? She asked hopefully. No, but it will sure seem a lot longer.
Okay. Now let's talk about movies. What is accountant's favorite movie? Does anyone know? Good Will Hunting.
Why did the auditor cross the road? Well, he looked in the audit file from last year, and that's what they did.
Well, this one may be a little bit different. Did you hear about the accountant who had sexual harassment charges brought against him? Well, the complaint was that he kept watching the bottom line.
What's the definition of a good tax accountant? Professor Cohen, she's not here. No. They have a loophole named after that.
Well, did anyone watch the Super Bowl halftime show this year? Yeah. Was Beyonce there? Yeah. Well, what pickup line did the accountant use on Beyonce? Can I help depreciate your assets?
Did you hear about the constipated accountant? He couldn't budget, so he had to work it out with a pencil and paper.
Okay, we can keep talking about this all day long, right? Okay, but here is a different one. All right, 3 guys are at an open casket funeral of a friend. One is a teacher, the other a doctor, and the third one is an accountant. So the teacher says, there's a good legend in our teaching profession that if you bury someone with a little bit of money, it will help him in the afterlife. What a nice song. And he puts $10 in the casket. The doctor says, well, I don't believe in your tradition, but on the chance that it helps out our friend, I too will lay $10 in the coffin. And he proceeds to put a second bill on the first. The teacher and the doctor look at the accountant who says, what? You think I won't join you? Hey, this was my friend too. In fact, I will do better. Look, I will put in 20. With that, he writes a check for $40, drops in the casket, and takes the 2 $10 bills. So he walks away with $20.
It's a tough one to follow up. But where do you find the homeless accountant? The tax shelter.
All right. Now we're out of the shelter, okay? Let's talk about relationship. Why can accountants break up a relationship? Looks like they're always in some kind of relationship. Because they're always reconciling.
I'm hoping a year from now I won't have to be working too many Saturdays, but I think that's just the reality. But why do why do accountants get excited to go to work on Saturday? Because they can wear casual clothes to work. You're gonna need your help here. It's a tough crowd.
All right. Let's talk about movies again, okay? Who is an accountant's favorite deceased actor? Heath Ledger.
You might be an accountant if you deduct your X-Lax as a moving expense. You have no idea that Gap's also a clothing store. Your idea of trashing a hotel room is not filling out the guest comment card. And you decide to change your name to a symbol, and you choose the double underline.
All right, I think I'm gonna do 2 this time, just like you did at the beginning. First one, if an accountant's wife can't sleep, what does she say? Darling, tell me about your work. Well, here's another one. What do accountants suffer from that ordinary people don't? Depreciation.
So an Arthur Anderson partner comes back from his office and says to his manager, "Did you get the message where I said, ship the Enron documents to the feds?" Manager goes white and says, Oh my God, I thought you said rip those Enron documents to shreds.
Okay. An accountant is reading nursery rhymes to her young child. When she is finished, she answers her son's question. No, son, when little Bo Peep lost her sheep, that won't be tax deductible. But I like you thinking.
How many JDs are out there? Or future? Oh. Okay, like 3.
Attorney jokes?
Close. What's the difference between an accountant and a lawyer? I guess it's a fitting joke for the Desperate family. The accountant knows she's boring.
Well, there are just 3 types of accountants in this world. Those who can count and those who couldn't count.
Okay, we're going to have to explain that one. 3 types of accountant, one that can count, one that can't, that's 2. Accountants don't die, they just lose their balance.
Why do accountants make great lovers? They are great with figures.
Why are they putting the accountants at the bottom of the ocean? They realize that deep down they're not so bad.
Okay, what do you call a accountant who is seen talking to someone? Popular.
And finally, an accountant dies and goes to heaven. Good. He reaches the pearly gates and is amazed to see a happy crowd all waving banners and chanting his name. After a few minutes, St. Peter comes running across and says, "I'm sorry, I wasn't here to greet you personally. God's looking forward to meeting such a remarkable man as yourself." The accountant's perplexed. "I've tried to lead a good life, but I'm overwhelmed by your welcome," he tells St. Peter. "It's the least we can do for someone as special as you are. Imagine living to the age of 123 and still looking so young." The man looks even more dumbfounded and replies, 123 years old? I don't know what you mean, I'm only 40. St. Peter replies, "That can't be right." Thank you much, everyone. That's all we have. High five.
By the way, Brian, put this together.
Thank you. All right, I want all the judges to please tell me their favorite joke by Mr. Wagner and Professor Feng.
The figures one? Well, I like all of them, okay? Actually, I'm very glad that my wife is not accountant.
I liked them too, but I can't remember any of them.
I like the last one, the timesheets.
I like the lawyer and the accountant.
I thought the dance steps were outstanding.
Very good, very good.